Hello again. So, let's see here. Here we go. This is number 11, I believe. So, let's see. What we have here is a continuation of the Campaign 5 Recollections. This is Recollection number 11. All right, so once again, the TTRPG that we are playing is Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, owned by Wizards of the Coast. And then there's we're playing Explorer's Guide to Wildemount, which is owned by the company and show Critical Role. We're using that Sourcebook. Anyways, so to continue this sort of storybook method that I was doing, eventually I do change the method. But for now, this is just what I'm doing. So I could have just typed all this out, but we'll get through these last couple ones that are like this, and then I'll go back into more of a natural sort of free-form reading. Anyways, okay. So now back to the chase. Now this starts with a chase where Xander and Wick head out of the room into the hall after the suspected murderer, Durant Harlow, from what they can tell. Now, Vorkeef and Team Ranger are already en route into the room when Vorkeef, being the closest, he sees Harlow running towards a window, and he tries to use the hold person spell on him to stop him. Now, Harlow succeeds the spell save DC, difficulty check, and then he leaps through the window. From there, the three of them all leap out of the window after him. Now, Team Ranger is too far away to really assist, so that's Nox's Kid and Vexen. So it's basically Vorkeef, Xander, and Wick that are chasing after Durant Harlow. Anyways, after a short chase into a nearby abandoned building, the trail goes cold. The party reforms at the building and assumes there's some secret escape hatch. They are unable to find any proof of this theory and decide to try and learn more about Durant Harlow. They don't find a secret hatch or anything like that. So that is when they encounter the next, who is the next sixth player character in the campaign, and that is Elio Florentes, a long, dark-haired human with a musketeer mustache and goatee, with similar musketeer pirate-like attire. And he's a man they encounter with some swagger in the street. Now, Elio happens to be able to help the party because he keeps company that have mentioned Harlow in passing. He kind of knows the underbelly. Due to his relationship with Levire, Elio is essentially the party's connection into the secret world of Diastock's kind of seedy sort of individuals, the underbelly, again, the nightlife. Elio himself has a history of being a swashbuckling pirate. It is hard to say if he was a captain of a ship. Unfortunately, I can't remember if he was a captain. I don't have his character sheet anymore, so I have no idea what he did. But with that, Elio joins the party and assists them in helping them track down Durant Harlow. Since almost all signs point to him murdering Levire, first Elio is at least aware of where he stays. So, at a well-known tavern in the garden grounds called the Shaded Bough. Now, the garden grounds is just an area in the city. But he takes them to this tavern called the Shaded Bough. Now, the party heads there to discover a number of things about Durant. From the dwarven proprietress of the Shaded Bough, who is smitten by Elio and agrees to answer some questions of Vorkeef regarding his coming and goings. After a successful persuasion check, meanwhile, the rest of the party decide to investigate his room, with Xander lockpicking with his thieves' tools and Wick detecting magic. They discover hidden amongst the somewhat ordinary room a chest with a hidden magical item. Now, it is discovered by Vorkeef and Elio that Durant Harlow has been seen with an individual known as Juniper, who keeps a secretive entourage of handsome men and beautiful women. She is known to frequent the hidden club beneath the shaded bough on a nightly basis. Durant often plays the role of the purse strings, with the allowance he receives from his various patrons. Meanwhile, the item hidden in Harlow's room is an amulet of proof against detection and location. Also, a letter to Harlow from someone mentioning should he ever need assistance, go to the Linhart residence in the garden grounds. So, a possible lead. But yeah, the amulet of proof against detection and location, that's just a magical item that you can attune to, and basically the DM's NPC villain characters can't necessarily scry on you to try and track you down or try and locate you through magical means. Alright, anyways, the other half of the party links up with Vorkeef and Elio again. It is decided that they should investigate the underground club to find Harlow. They also suspect this Juniper individual to be some sort of ringleader. Now, the party is working out a plan in town when a small boy approaches Wick and asks him about his peculiar blue robe. Now, Wick explains that it is a mark of his order, him being a vassal. After this brief exchange, the boy's father steps out of a nearby store. The boy's father recognizes him as a vassal and is intrigued. Now, the father is coincidentally Casper Linhart, the patriarch of a small aristocratic household that is well connected amongst the merchants and banks of the empire as a middle manager of no small repute. As you can tell, I'm not a master of weaving intricate stories, so sometimes it's easier to just give the players an easy entry into the next chapter, which is what I was doing right here. Either way, Casper has heard of tales about the vassals and considers this a rare treat for his son to hear stories of adventure firsthand. So he invites Wick to his home for dinner and tales of glory. Xander is currently with Wick during this exchange and is invited as well, considering he shared in these adventures. Now, Wick decides that though his robe is fine, though Wick's robe is fine, both him and Xander may need to acquire some finer clothes for this dinner. They, with Elio's help, find a tailor to suit their needs, while Elio shows them how to dress with a little more taste. Once Wick and Xander are set, the party realizes they have a full schedule for that night in Diastock. They discover the Linhart residence is just down the road by 2 blocks from the shaded bough. So the party turns into a planning committee, as Vexen likes to say. Wick and Xander will attend the dinner at the Linhart's residence, while Elio and Vorkeef go to the hidden club beneath the shaded bough. Meanwhile, Team Ranger will provide overwatch on the street. Nox's Kid will be on the ground in a nearby alley that is one house over from the Linhart residence. And Vexen will be positioned on the roof of a tall building that is being constructed across the street. At this point, Elio and Vorkeef enter the hidden tavern beneath the shaded bough. That has a small monster arena. Kind of, old school, I guess. Monster arena. A little bit of a anime reference. Anyways, Elio is able to spot a drunken Harlow Durant and quickly persuades him that they have partied together before. Now, don't ask me how a demon gets drunk. I don't think, so kind of like a little side. I don't think demons can be inebriated from like wine or something in the game, like they're immune to it or something. But anyways, technically could, but I'm just trying to run the game. But either way, that being said, he quickly invites Vorkeef to a private table where they visit shortly, being joined by two other beautiful women that introduce themselves as Harlow's friends. This is Camilla and Juniper. At the moment, the monster fight in the small arena commences against an owl bear and 3 hellhounds. It is made clear immediately that Juniper is in charge of Harlow's, or it is immediately clear that Juniper is in charge as Harlow's demeanor changes once she sits down. She begins to probe, and Elio and Vorkeef, they try their best to elude her sort of questioning, but she is aware of third-party investigators are searching for a murderer, seemingly Elio and Vorkeef. So Juniper is aware to their purpose with Harlow. She's very clever for a villain. Well, I mean, most villains are pretty clever, and Juniper is one of them. She's already aware of everything that they've been up to and what they're trying to do. Now, meanwhile, down the street at the Linhart residence, Wick and Xander enter the small but lavish residence and discover the Linharts have their own private security inside and outside the home. These mercenaries usher them inside and bring them to the upstairs dining room that the Linharts are waiting. They discover the wife of Casper Linhart. Hugolina Linhart is strikingly beautiful. Once the dinner commences, they start with idle chit-chat, and Wick tells the family of his party and his adventures with them. Now, Hugolina starts to ask him why they are currently in Deostock. As Wick explains, she begins to press Wick and Xander that there were rumors that men fitting their description were at the Truscan Manor earlier that morning. As the conversation continues and some deception checks were failed, Wick takes a gamble and begins to subtly question her. Now, while this is occurring, Xander, due to his subclass, has the psychic ability to telepathically speak to the rest of the party via a psychic link, within a certain range, of course. He tells Team Ranger that things are going south at the dinner, and they might need help since they are outnumbered. Now, we return to the club beneath the shaded bough, where the hellhounds have overwhelmed and defeated the owl bear in the monster arena. Now, this moment, Juniper finally reveals to Elio and Vorkeef that she is onto them. She and Camilla, with a reluctant Harlow, spring into action. They, at the same time, at the Linhart residence, the hired security draw weapons to subdue Wick and Xander, while ushering the family out of the dining room. Now, Xander informs Team Ranger that they are under attack, so Knox's kid is waiting for Vexen to engage the two mercenaries outside the residence front door. Suddenly, as Vexen is notching an arrow and pulling the bowstring back while he aims, his passive perception notices someone approaching from behind. He turns quickly to instantly fire the arrow into the chest of a large, masculine, handsome man with demonic wings protruding from his back. This individual rips the arrow from his chest before chuckling to himself and saying, "Finally, someone worth killing." And that is essentially how that one goes. Now, sorry about that. My writing, there's not a whole lot of space between it, so I'm kind of jumbling up words and speeding up too quickly. But essentially, all 3 groups are now in a fight. So with that is where we will wrap up this recollection, and we will move on to the next one in due time. All right.